Now, Germany's Volkswagen has ambitious plans of its own in the luxury car market. The company's Audi division will introduce 8 new models to directly compete with BMW and Mercedes-Benz. And my next guest says Audi is up to the challenge, especially in light of the way it's been bending the metal, as he says. Erich Merkle is the president of AutoEconomy.com. He joins me now from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Erich, let me ask you first of all about the brands here. I mean, I've always been a big fan of German cars, so to me, they're kind of all competing. But a lot of people think of Mercedes as the most luxurious, BMW maybe a little bit more than Audi, which is a little bit more plain, right?
Well, I think, you know, a lot of that is probably a little bit dated. I think that some of the newer styles and a lot of the newer designs, especially that are coming out of Audi, are taking them more upmarket. Mercedes-Benz, in my opinion, has probably become a little more of an older clientele, if you will. So in some respects, Mercedes-Benz could also be quite vulnerable to some of the activity that's going on at Audi right now.
How much of it has to do with the fact that the ultimate owners have so many brands? I mean, if you look at Volkswagen, they have Seat, they have Audi, they have Lamborghini, so they have brands that sort of span Skoda, brands that span the entire population, whereas BMW just focuses, with the exception of Mini Cooper, on one real car.
Well, the interesting thing about that is BMW is going to be very focused, so it's going to be very hard to unseat BMW. But interestingly enough, Volkswagen has probably one of the best designers in the world working at Audi, leading up Audi design. That is Walter de Silva. He's done some incredible work at Alfa Romeo back in the day, and now he's done things like the R8, which is the Audi sports car, the A5 and the S5 Coupe, which is just an incredible design. So a lot of this gets a little more subjective when you start looking at autos and which vehicle manufacturers are going to be hot going forward. But they certainly have a hot designer with Walter de Silva and some of the work that he's doing there. In addition to that, BMW has lost Chris Bangle. And, well, Chris was very, you know, some of his stuff was very controversial, and sometimes he was a very acclaimed vehicle designer. He is no longer at BMW, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out in terms of some of their future design work.
And, of course, Audi basically owns four-wheel drive. Obviously, everybody makes four-wheel drive vehicles, but with the Quattro system, they practically invented it. Does that give them an advantage? I mean, BMW losing Chris Bangle and kind of technologically not having the reputation that Audi does.
Oh, I don't know that it gives them a real advantage. The Quattro system now, I'm sure that a lot of Audi engineers are probably up in arms, but you know, the Quattro system is an excellent system. BMW is a little bit different in the fact that they've stuck more with the rear-wheel drive platform. BMW has all-wheel drive platforms as well that they can compete with Audi on. But I think the real interesting thing is going to come down to design and the overall appeal, as I call the bending of the metal, the quality of the interior materials, you know, the different ways in which you use metal, wood, the plastic trim, the stitching and the seats. That all is going to play in, and Volkswagen and Audi have some of the best interiors in the business right now. So I think Audi is going to be a very formidable competitor, not just to BMW, but to Mercedes as well. The other thing that you have to keep in mind is BMW is much smaller. Audi is part of a much bigger conglomerate called Volkswagen. Audi, I think, has the ability to scale better than that of BMW, because they're able to share some of the common components with Volkswagen at higher volume.
Is it cheaper for them because of that? I mean, they come out with 8 new models, which originally struck me as kind of odd right after the Great Recession, but of course they use the same platforms for a lot of these cars, and as you say, all they really have to do is bend the metal differently on the body.
Right. Now, some of the platforms are going to be exclusive to Audi, there's no question, but there's other areas where they can share. Some of those platforms they can share, especially in the Audi with the small cars, with the A1 that they're coming out with the A3, and also some of their SUVs, such as the Q3, which isn't out yet, but that's going to be a smaller crossover than the Q5, which was just recently launched. But they're able to share those common components where the consumer can't see. Anything that the consumer can't see, they can share, which allows them then to get that scale that BMW, quite frankly, and even Mercedes doesn't have.
All right. Hey, Erich, thanks very much for that. When we get pictures of these, we'll bring you back on. Erich Merkle there from AutoEconomy.com.
Thank you.